I'm Elle Embers, and this is Cosmic Curiosities. Hey friend, and welcome back to another episode of Cosmic Curiosities, Cosmic Insights. I'm your host, Elle Embers, your Earthside spirit guide to combining everything mind, body, and spirit. Today we are going deep into the critical skills you need to truly unlock lasting transformation in your life. Now, if you're someone who's constantly reading, researching, attending therapy, and doing all of the things, but still feel stuck, this is the episode for you. I see so many people spinning their wheels, collecting knowledge, yet feeling like nothing is actually changing. And I know that frustration firsthand. Today, I'm breaking down the 3 puzzle pieces that helped me shift from knowing to being, and I want to help you do the same. We're going to explore the difference between intellectual understanding and deep transformation, how your brain actually holds on to old patterns, and why having a framework for daily integration is a game changer. If you've been wondering why things haven't shifted despite your efforts, I promise by the end of this episode, you'll have a fresh perspective and practical steps to move forward. So, let's start with the first and probably the most important piece of the puzzle, the one that took me a really long time to really grasp. It's easy to get trapped in what I call intellectualizing your healing. You know that feeling when you're constantly reading self-help books, listening to podcasts, binge watching YouTube videos on mindfulness, and maybe even going to therapy, but nothing really shifts? I see this all the time. People think that understanding something intellectually, like the root of their anxiety, their past traumas, or why they behave a certain way, should automatically lead to change. But the truth is, simply knowing why doesn't create transformation. It's like knowing the recipe for a cake, but never actually baking it. For me, it was an eye-opener when I realized I was spending all this time learning about psychology, healing, brain science, and it made me feel really smart, sure. But was I really doing anything with this knowledge? No. I wasn't taking action, and I wasn't feeling any different. And this is where traditional models of talk therapy sometimes fall short. And don't get me wrong, talk therapy definitely has its place, but there are many forms of therapy, like cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, that focuses primarily on your thoughts, your cognitive patterns. It's all about reshaping your thoughts to change your behaviors. And while this can be super effective for some people, if we only stay in the realm of thoughts, we risk missing a huge part of the equation: our bodies and our emotions. And this is where soul therapy steps in, offering something that traditional therapy doesn't always provide: a holistic view of oneself. In soul therapy, I know that you are so much more than just your thoughts. Soul therapy isn't just about analyzing your thoughts. It goes much deeper. We're looking at your entire being: your mind, your body, your nervous system, your spiritual energy. In my work as a soul therapist, I've seen the profound impact that working with your body and nervous system can really have, especially when paired with spiritual practices. Because here's the truth. You can't just think your way out of a deep-seated emotional pain. If you could, you would have done it already, right? Healing requires us to feel our way through, to release stuck energy from the body and to connect with something deeper, our soul, our essence, our true self. And this is where I often see people getting stuck, thinking that they can intellectualize their way out of emotional trauma. But the body and spirit hold on to these experiences in ways that the mind can't always process. So what's the alternative? In soul therapy, we go beyond intellectualizing and into the body and the energy. That means using practices like breath work and somatic release to physically move trapped energy, things like Reiki even. It means addressing your nervous system's responses, teaching it how to calm down when triggered, and re-establishing a sense of safety within your body. When was the last time you let yourself feel your emotions without rationalizing them away? This is where real healing happens. When we stop trying to explain our feelings and start allowing them to move through us. This is also where energetics and spirituality comes in. When you can tap into something bigger than yourself, whether it's through meditation or energy work, or even connecting with your spirit team, you're healing on a level that the mind can't fully grasp. It's like giving your soul permission to speak, to guide you, and to release the burdens that have been weighing you down for years. For example, when I work with clients through soul therapy, we often explore not just their current emotions, but how these emotions have been carried through their energetic field, sometimes even from past lives. And yes, it's deep, but it's also incredibly freeing. Now, let's get a little bit nerdy for a second, and let's talk about your brain, specifically neural pathways. Our brains are incredible. They're basically a big machine or a big computer that works to conserve energy. And they create neural pathways which are essentially shortcuts to help you navigate life with minimal effort. It's how you can brush your teeth in the morning without thinking, or automatically react a certain way when you're stressed. But here's the thing. A lot of these neural pathways were created when we were young, before you even had conscious awareness. And while they may serve you at one point, many of them can now keep you stuck. Think about it this way. If as a child you learnt to shut down during conflict because that's what kept you safe in your family environment, that pattern is probably still running today, even if it's no longer serving you. Every time you face a conflict, your brain goes, "Oh, I know this. Let's shut down." And then boom, you're in the same pattern. But the good news is that you can rewire these pathways. The brain is neuroplastic, which means it can change. But this is where people often get tripped up. Because changing these patterns, it takes repetition. A lot of it. And I see this a lot in my relax and release ritual and my personal and custom theta healing sessions. Because in these sessions, through soul therapy, we can install new neural pathways. We can install new shortcuts to help align your choices, your behaviors, your mindset with your goals and with things that do benefit you at this point in time. But sometimes we can take a step back and we can resort back to an old pattern or an old pathway and repeat an old habit. And this can be really discouraging. And this is where a lot of my clients feel all that progress fall apart. But the thing is, when you install new neural pathways, you don't actually delete the old ones. They're always there. It's about choosing the new neural pathways consistently that allows you to create change. It allows you to make them your new default setting. So repetition becomes a big part of that. Let me give you an analogy. Remember when you were a toddler, learning to walk? It took about 10,000 steps, falls included, before you probably got the hang of it. The same thing happens when we try to change deeply rooted patterns. If you're only working on these changes for an hour a week in therapy, or when you feel particularly inspired, you're not going to get the repetitions you need to build on these new neural pathways. This is why daily practice is so crucial. It's about showing up for yourself every single day, even in the smallest of ways. And it's not just about forcing yourself to think differently. It's about embodying these changes through action, through moving your body, through consciously choosing new behaviors in real-time situations. Now, this brings us to the third piece, having a framework. Without a structured system to help you integrate these practices into your daily life, it's really easy to slip back into those old habits. Let's face it, change is hard. You're going to feel resistance. You're going to get triggered. But having a framework to follow can make all the difference. This framework gives you something to lean on when things get tough, and it helps you stay accountable to the changes that you want to see. For me, it wasn't until I created a daily routine and framework that I truly started seeing results. I started dedicating each day to a different aspect of my holistic well-being. I have a to-do list every single day. On Mondays, I include something for my physical health. On Tuesdays, something for creativity. And on Wednesdays, I include something for productivity and to focus on my goals. And this is something that gave me balance and structure that I really needed to stay grounded. I used a westernized version of the chakra system to guide my process. Each day, I check in with myself and ask, where am I out of balance? How can I bring this area of my life into alignment today? Journaling, scripting, meditation, Reiki, theta, body movement. Things like this all became rituals that helped me stay connected to my intentions every day. And honestly, my life completely transformed. Opportunities started flowing in. I found myself attracting relationships that were actually aligned with my higher self, and I no longer felt like a victim of my own circumstances. And another thing I want to add here is the power of community, because I wasn't doing all of this work alone. Sure, I started out alone. I started out feeling misunderstood and disconnected, and I did struggle to allow people to get close to me growing up with psychic and mediumship abilities. But as I got older and I started reaching out, I found people around me who were on similar journeys. And this added layers of accountability that made all the difference. Because having a supportive community not only helps you to stay on track, but it also helps you see beyond your own blind spots. Healing in isolation, it is possible, but healing in a community is really transformative. And I've had both. And that's why I will always choose community. And that is what led me to build the Spirit Squad, a heart-centered soul school for holistic healing and growth. I wanted to provide something that I didn't have, to help you fast-track your growth and your expansion in ways that I never could on my own. Now, I have to bring it all together by emphasizing the importance of holistic healing. And this is where soul therapy truly stands out. Traditional therapy often focuses on one piece of the puzzle, and it's usually the mind. But we are so much more than just our thoughts. We are emotional, physical, spiritual beings. And soul therapy looks at that whole you and gives you tools to heal on every level. In soul therapy, we work with energy healing, past life regression, different spiritual practices, and healing techniques to help you move through your process in a holistic and integrated way. And this is what makes it different from traditional therapy. It's not just about fixing your thoughts, but healing your entire being. So, let's recap. First puzzle piece. Go beyond intellectualizing. Because knowing something doesn't equal transformation. You need to connect that knowledge with your body, your emotions, and your soul. A great example is if I only read about past lives, I'd never have the connection with it that I do now from being able to live it and experience it. It's one thing to know something, it's different to live it. Puzzle piece number 2, rewiring your brain through theta healing and repetition. It takes daily practice to build on those new neural pathways and to truly change your habits and your behaviors. Again, all our neural pathways are built when we're young, and we can install new ones, but we can't delete the old. It becomes a choice. It becomes a choice of consciously choosing a new neural pathway that better aligns with you and using repetition to build on its strength, to help it become your new default setting. Puzzle piece number 3, create a daily framework. Having a structured system helps you stay accountable, organized, and balanced as you integrate these changes into your life. Now, if you've resonated with what I've talked about today, I encourage you to explore soul therapy deeper, or consider how you can create a framework that works for you. Because healing isn't a one-size-fits-all process. And sometimes a lot of healing is all about radical acceptance. To stop fighting with the current and learn to swim with it. With the right tools, the right community, and the willingness to do the work, transformation is always possible. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic. So drop me a message on Instagram, email me, or however works for you. Or better yet, join us in the Spirit Squad where we do dive deeper into these topics with other like-minded souls. But I hope this is helpful. I hope this provided some cosmic insights for you in a more holistic way. But until next time, stay curious and keep growing. This is your Earthside Spirit Guide signing off. Thanks for joining me for today's Cosmic Insight. If you're ready to unleash the magic of your soul and want to work with me, you can send me a message on Instagram at l.embers or visit my website lembers.com.